Hey everybody, welcome back to the VanillaTV stream. This is your American Shoutcaster of the month, Salamancer here, and I am joined right now by HRG's Shade, American's medic. So, Shade, first question, how was the flight over?
Went pretty smoothly. The only one that had issues was Paul. And do you want me to tell those stories, or you want people to check the YouTube out? Okay. A couple of stories about Paul. For one, he, Shrugger, and I were on the same aisle, but for some reason he was in the last boarding zone, and we were in, I think, the third boarding zone. So Paul was one of the last ones to board the plane for no apparent reason. The second awesome thing about our trip was that the stewardess on our plane asked Paul for an autograph because he looks like Kumar from Harold and Kumar.
Okay, so you guys have been here since Wednesday. How's the land gone for you so far?
Just the first few days we were adjusting. We just stayed at the uni pretty much, I think, all of Wednesday. We did the early access yesterday, so we got to set up and everything. But we haven't really got to scrim. We scrimmed once. We scrimmed today against the French team, Punchline, but other than that, we've just been, I guess, getting accustomed to the time change pretty much.
So speaking of scrimming against these European teams, what do you think they've learned from last year? Because last year you guys thrashed their best teams.
Maybe they learned from our aggressive play style. I know if they watched ESCA land, they probably would have backpedaled a little bit. That's not the best thing to watch. But yeah, I think maybe they learned how to be a little bit more aggressive.
So talking about that ESEA land, that's for those of you who don't know out there, is the biggest North America tournament, big prize spot for that one actually, I think, as far as TF2 goes. You guys just won that, and that was last weekend, so now you're out playing TF2 again on your next weekend. How did that go for you? That was a little bit different because Valve updated a lot of their weapons, right?
Yeah, I mean, we still took first. Personally, I thought we would take first. It was a little shaky when the quick fix update came out. We took a little bit of time getting adjusted to it. Mix-up was looking extremely strong when it first came out. But yeah, we ended up taking that win last weekend for the ESEA. So coming off of that, I think we're feeling pretty confident here too. So.
Excellent. Okay. So we had a question on there for Banny, but he is very busy doing his practice warm-up right now. So and obviously these matches all count tonight because it all determines your seeding tomorrow. So I guess let's get back to the back end of this. What's the difference between the LG of yesterday and the HRG of today?
I think the biggest difference is our soldiers. Especially from a DM standpoint, Tag and Lansky from Mackie and Tyrone. It's a DM standpoint, definitely an upgrade. So, and I think as a team, we are playing a lot better nowadays than we were then. We're just a better team. We have a lot more cohesion now.
Well, that sounds pretty excellent. So I'm, of course, being the American, I'm hoping you guys win. So what class do you think is kind of Europe's weak point?
If I was gonna pick one, that's tough because a lot of people say all of their classes are the best. They say Numlack's the best demo, Mike's the best soldier, Miralyn's the best medic. I guess I'm gonna have to go with scouts just because I feel like their scouts are not talked about nowadays as much as all the other classes are.
Okay, so we got maybe two more questions here. First to go is, since you guys were not using European rules, you guys were using all the unlocks, the Europeans don't use any of the unlocks, how do you think that's going to affect your play going into this weekend?
Well, the biggest issue is going to be the quick fix. Is adjusting from playing for months with the quick fix to coming here with no quick fix and getting back to the Uber and crit style. It feels a little sloppy right now, and just getting used to that style again has been, kind of rough, just transitioning back to it. But I think by the end of today, we'll have it all figured out. We'll be good for the knockout stages for sure.
All right. Well, here's best of luck. Do you have any final shout-outs before we head off?
I will give a shout-out to Zingod and Shift Up, and shout-out to HRG. Shout-out to everyone that donated. I've got a ton of YouTube videos still coming. I got a lot of content coming out, and
what is that YouTube address?
YouTube.com/ShadeTF2. If you want to check out, I've already got about 30+ videos up now, so you should go check those out.
Okay, well, we are. Thank you very much, Shade. we're going to go over to the Australians, who are actually sitting right behind you guys, and we're going to talk to them. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is Sal once again. I am here with Yuki of Team Immunity. Yuki, say hello to the fans out there. Team Immunity is the Australian team for the first time ever coming onto English soil. Going to compete here and see whether the Australian scene has what it takes to compete at the highest level of global TF2. Yuki, I got a question. How is your LAN experience going so far?
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. It's just nothing we're used to at all. These LANs are massive. There's like 3,000 people here. It's ridiculous. I think the biggest one we had in Australia was like 300 or 400 people. So 10 times less the amount of people. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of awesome people to meet as well. It's just been a great experience.
And you guys have been here for maybe almost a week now, right? You've been practicing and playing. How's that been going?
Our first day of the boot camp was pretty woeful. We were at an internet cafe at the start. It was pretty disastrous, 20 FPS computers, awful internet. But we bounced back pretty quickly. We had some decent scrim results against Infused and some other teams, but apart from that, it was pretty good. Hello? All right, sorry. Hi.
So, given kind of the performance today and how you guys have improved over the week, how do you think you're going to do at LAN? Are you going to make the finals?
I'd like to think so. I mean, we've been a bit shaky at the start, as I said earlier, but looks like we've been performing pretty well on the LAN screen already. I mean, we had some pretty good scrims earlier. We'll just have to see. I mean, I'd like to think so, but it's up in the air at the moment.
So, that's a weird question. Okay, so it's very hard for you guys to measure how good you've been in the Australian scene because you've been very isolated just by that ping difference. It's really hard to go play against an American team when it's like 250 ping and a European team, same thing. So has that been a drawback, do you think, in your practice regimen?
To an extent, yes, because, you know, a lot of time when you win things pretty easily, you become complacent, and that's been an issue for us for quite a long time. I mean, a lot of the time we should just win our games with relative ease in Australia because we're the strongest team by far. But, you know, we start to get complacent in a lot of games, and then we drop rounds, get frustrated, and just goes downhill from there. But at the same time, I think it's an advantage because, you know, the other teams don't really know what to expect from us, so that's another thing as well.
Okay, so if you had to convince everybody out there who doesn't really know a lot about your team, one player to watch, one player to root for, who would it be?
This guy, Sheep, he's a monster. He's banned him from Pugs multiple times because he hates him sniping on 200 ping. He's just a beast, and on LAN he's no different. He's an amazing player. But I couldn't just say that. I mean, my whole team is just full of amazing players. Most of us, the core of us, have played together for nearly 4 years now, so we're not only just teammates, we're all friends.
So it used to be the fact that every scene had their strong points, right? You had Europeans claiming the best demos, and you had Americans claiming the best soldiers. So would you say Australians had like a best point, and do they still?
I think the thing about Australian teams is, to an extent, a lot of their teams stick together for quite a long time. I mean, as I said earlier, the core of our team has been together for 4 years nearly. And you just see the same teams just entering over and over again, just sticking it out for the long haul, not just, you know, cutting 1 or 2 players a season to try and win. But I think that's pretty much our point there. Nothing really special. I mean, we've got some pretty good players here and there, but nothing really that stands out like the Europeans and Americans for sure.
Okay. Very, very different tack of a question here. Do you think TF2 as a competitive scene will ever go huge? Is it ever going to make it onto that, you know, level of StarCraft or League of Legends?
I just think, in general, as a genre, FPS games are dying. I mean, like, Quake Live is like the most common example where you quote when you talk about competitive FPSs. I mean, the game was massive and such a high skill ceiling, but the problem for it is it's not a very good spectator game, and like especially when you're not experienced with the game, you don't really know what's going on. But TF2, it's kind of hard to follow as well. I mean, it's hard for a spectator to go like, oh yeah, this team has a player advantage, like they're going to push off that, something like that. It's something that's really hard for the spectator to understand. But we're getting a lot of these materials coming out which are teaching like new players and spectators alike how to get into the game easier so they can follow it. But I don't know, there is still hope, but it is looking pretty dim. But I don't know, it's hard to say that when we've got like teams from all around the world here right now. So.
Okay, well, we've got a few more questions for you, and some of these are kind of softballs, but I'm okay with them. First of all, your favorite weapon loadout, what is it and why?
For a start, I've always been a fan of the cow mangler. That thing's amazing. It makes such funny sounds, and I love weapons that make funny sounds. Probably a secondary weapon on Soldier will probably be the Conqueror. Like, I love the sound the thing that makes. Something like that. But it's a lot of fun. Melee weapon, probably Marker Gardener, because those air melees are awesome.
Okay, and then pretty much finally, getting back to the Australian scene, what has made you guys so dominant for so long? Because for everybody out there who doesn't know, Team Immunity in its various forms has won, gosh, 12 seasons running? What is it?
Yeah, it's about that. And I think the main thing to attest to that is our willingness to play with each other. Like, as I said earlier, we're all friends. We've been playing together, for most of us, for nearly 4 years. We know each other inside and out. I mean, we have our ups and downs, but that's what friends have, really, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Yuki, do you have any shout-outs you want to give out there?
Oh, okay. This is something that's the most important of the interview. First off, shout out to our big man, Andy Bones. I'm sure he's here somewhere for bailing us out of a terrible ordeal with the internet cafe, and his housemate Phil. They've been so accommodating, so helpful for us. We wouldn't have been here in such a good state if it weren't for them. Team Immunity, obviously, and our sponsors, everyone in the community for donating. We couldn't have been here without you guys. You guys are amazing. Like, we're really grateful. And finally, Atmo for sorting out the i49au.tf link. That was appreciative. Thanks a lot for that.
Okay, well, thank you, Yuki. We don't want to keep you guys anymore because apparently you are up next to play against which team are we looking at? TCM. So it is TCM versus Immunity coming up very soon.